Three, two, one. And we're live. Hello, welcome back to Mozambique of Geeks. We are here with Toby Mills, Rad Comics, to discuss a range of topics today. We'll be covering Ant-Man Quantumania, our thoughts on the latest installment in Phase 5. We'll be talking about Phase 5 in general, so sort of like state that the franchise is in right now. What can we be expecting from Marvel further? And we'll also be going over recent comic book runs that we're really enjoying and really want to continue reading and discuss about. So yeah, just general like what we think is going on in the world of comics and the world of pop culture. So yeah, I will leave it with Toby to take away.
So let's cover the elephant in the room, I guess, and that's going to be Ant-Man Quantumania.
Ant-Man Quantumania.
That came out, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago?
It's roughly 3 weeks ago, yeah.
About 3 weeks ago here in Australia. And I saw it with a friend, and Liam saw it with another friend. And I hated the film, but Liam.
So we have a little bit of a strange contrast here because, and again, look, each of their own. Movie enjoyment, is subjective. Me and Toby can agree on that. I can understand. First of all, MODOK was
disappointing. I was really upset by it. I'm a big MODOK fan.
Yeah, 100%. And with everything we've had in just like TV shows, games, and comics, it's like all that build up and we set the standard for the character. We're excited. We're seeing his live action debut, and in fairness, MODOK is a character. No matter if you you can try to do it in live action the hardest you can, he's still going to look goofy. No matter how you make it
exactly.
Look. Yeah. But I'll be completely honest. I came out aside overlooking how MODOK was handled and Darren was handled and all that. When I came out, I did give the movie an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 5.5.
I honestly will
even lower than that, maybe 4. I would say now.
I give it an 8 out of 10. For me personally, Cassie was pretty standout. Hank Pym is my favorite Ant-Man, and we got a lot of him in this movie.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed. Scott Lang is, is still,
he's around.
He's around. He's an amazing dad, and of course, what I think me and Toby can both agree on is Kang and how he essentially carried the movie.
I think so. Yeah,
Again, we had obviously spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, but we learned about the Council of Kangs.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of setting up Loki season 2, and it's setting up Kang and future Avengers, Secret Wars, and all that good stuff, and the Kang Dynasty, of course. And yeah, they're really setting him up he's the next big bad for the MCU. And with what we've seen in Loki and Ant-Man, it's been pretty strong. We can't deny that he was the best part of the movie, and I think. Is it Jonathan? What's the actor's name?
Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors
did a brilliant job, yeah.
And he's also going to be in Creed 3, which I'm also seeing when it comes out. And he is, he's on top of the world right now with roles. He's incredible. He's
he's killing at the moment. Yeah, I've heard very good things about his role in Creed 3. So
100%. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of the Creed movies. I'm actually seeing it with Braden next week.
Oh, sick. Yeah, nice.
But yeah, I still think that I really love the relationship between Scott and Cassie in this film. I really think it's there's been a lot of, and I really do like the character development for Cassie. I think that also Wasp was pretty good too. I didn't think that the movie was complete garbage. I thought that it was a really different environment for Scott Lang to be in. Typically, the Ant-Man trilogy has been, quips and jokes and lightheartedness. This was a completely different surrounding for that character, and he adapted the best he could to it.
Yeah,
But and not, I'm not gonna lie, not all the comedy is bad. I know
I
typically,
genuinely think none of it worked. To be fair,
yeah,
I think it was all off. And I've got to say, just quickly,
that's all right. Go ahead.
you were saying before how you thought Catherine Newton was good.
Mm,
And I generally think Catherine Newton, Michael Douglas, Bill Murray, Michelle Pfeiffer
mm,
were awful. I
fair enough.
really hated their performance. I just think they didn't really care to be there. And I think it was more so Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Bill Murray more so didn't care to be there. And I think it's the fact that like the whole movie is CGI,
Yeah,
and Ewan
yeah,
McGregor
essentially.
said it when he did the prequels. It's so hard to act and to tell a story
Mm,
when everything is just when the whole studio is filled with like blue screen and green screen. So that
yeah,
really took away the performances, and I think the because I think generally, I think Paul Rudd is a brilliant actor. I thought he was
absolutely,
good in this film. I think he's good in everything he's in. So I
absolutely.
think to see him kind of out of the comedy actor, more of a serious role, more of like a dad trying to protect his daughter in this unknown world. I thought that was
Mm,
something really interesting to see, something I was excited to see with Paul Rudd, and I think he executed it. But I
absolutely.
think Catherine Newton ruined it because I just think her performance was so emotionless, and like every time
Mm,
something would happen, I would be like, I don't really care. And I think that was the whole like because the trailer, like I mean, the trailer. I was saying to my friend before, the Ant Man Quantum Mania trailer is probably top five Marvel trailers we've ever got. The
yeah, I can back that.
like that shit went hard, man.
So hard, yeah,
Yeah, it went hard. So like, but it really set up the stakes of the film. So you go into it like, oh
yeah.
shit, like Scott's gonna lose something here. Kathy's gonna die, or he's gonna die, or Hope's
Mm,
gonna die. You
yeah.
really felt, and then like I don't know, they just didn't really set that up very well. To be fair, I did really like how it went straight into the quantum realm, how they didn't really waste much time. They were like
Yeah,
straight
pretty
into it,
much.
the movie starts. I was like, sick. Like
Mm.
90% of the movie was in the quantum realm. That's what I wanted.
I will say though, as much as I'm talking about like the positive stuff I enjoy from Ant
Yeah,
Quantum.
yeah, yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of good stuff to enjoy in that movie, but you can't deny. And we were discussing Murdoch before, but there were parts in the plot, especially with the whole Scott Lang, sorry, Hank Pym, sorry, having this like secret like army of quantum
Oh
fucking
yeah, man.
ants, like, and that
Or
came out
armor
of,
to the max too.
yeah, with armor, and it came out of nowhere. It was pretty much a plot device.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. Now, here's the thing, because I both love and hate the last scene where obviously Kang dies at the hands of fucking ants. Sorry, I shouldn't
Yeah,
swear.
yeah. I don't blame
But
you, bro. I'm as frustrated as you are.
yeah, and I think Matt was more frustrated than both of us
Oh,
combined.
he was, yeah.
Yeah. But to be honest, like I think it was really far fetched. It was really stupid for them to pull that, especially for the sake of the
Oh,
story.
yeah.
It was essentially just a cop out way to beat Kang, and even so, that's really, I'm not sure
To
how
really
that
just
works.
rush it up. Do you know what I mean?
They
Just
really
like,
did rush it up,
let's get
yeah.
to the end. Let's get to the.
But I'm not gonna lie, I say this all the time. Like I say, Hank Pym is my favorite Ant Man. I'll always love him. But literally, like I was saying to you the other day, I think like, but you see him walk in and he just stands and he faces Kang and he just
Yeah,
stands
to
there
be fair, that is a very cool scene. I did like how
cold.
that was done. Yeah.
Just like, despite what's happening around him, the fact that he just like is standing there, like a multiversal threat is right in front of him. It just stands there, like what's
Yeah.
good, like
It's
what's good.
about ants, bitch.
Yeah, like legit, like like as stupid as that whole like occurrence was, he was fucking great in that one scene. But again, like I understand, like as some people, obviously, I am siding with the audience response
Yeah.
to the movie, but again, I can't deny, like a lot of people say that his acting in the film was quite dry. I will say as well, another negative I took away from Ant-Man was Bill Murray's character.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
is can't remember the name. What was the name of his character? I
I
forgot
wouldn't have a
now.
clue exactly. Like you
Yeah,
could
it's
not
pretty
remember.
forgettable.
Like you
Yeah,
think Bill Murray, like this is a legendary comedic actor.
yeah,
This is Ghostbusters. This is Groundhog Day. I think it was Judgment Groundhog Day.
yeah,
Like a legendary actor you have, and you can do so much with him. And he's in there for 5 minutes with dry up jokes, and
yeah.
then dies at the end. I'm like, and that's what I mean. It's frustrating. You have these powerhouse actors like Michael Douglas, like Michelle Pfeiffer, and there's just no emotion in it, and it's really frustrating.
He plays Kryler, the governor
Kryler,
of Axia. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah, I've only seen the movie once.
governor
So.
who gives a shit, you
Yeah,
know?
essentially, yeah. He was and again, like that was another thing similar to the whole quantum realm ants like came out of fucking nowhere. Was
Yeah,
that also that storyline and that justification as to like what Michelle Pfeiffer was doing in the quantum realm was like pretty much like them like justifying, hey, here's how that connects to phase 5. Here's how
yeah,
that was actually, and the thing is like obviously, oh, she was trying to hide it in Ant-Man and Wasp. You know, she was like, she came out like, oh, everything's fine. I've just been trapped. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but like, it's
I,
just, I feel like they were reaching. They were reaching for that. I feel
I
personally.
feel no, I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of problems with people like people like you're saying being too harsh on the film. I don't think you're not being harsh at all. I just think like you just generally want to watch a good movie, and I know
Yeah,
you did.
for
You say
sure.
you do, but
I enjoyed Ant-Man Quantumania as
yeah,
much as I would, and to be honest, it I is at a solid 8 out of 10. But I can't deny there were some negatives that came out of it. So
I think yeah, and we'll go talk about the end credit scenes now because obviously that's the major part about every single Marvel movie.
this is true. Unfortunately, yes, this is true
That's the
because
only reason we go to these movies is for the end
like
credit
no
scenes.
matter how like you look at Venom 2, like no matter how like I enjoyed Venom 2, genuinely.
Yeah,
But
it's not. I'm
obviously
sorry, it's okay. I don't mind it.
the rest of the world didn't, but you can't deny the post credit scene was
Top
pretty
five,
much
top
what people
five post credit scenes in
was
all
pretty
of comic
much
book movies.
why people paid for the ticket was just the post credit scene. Or Black Adam for
Right,
that matter.
right, right. Don't be saying that though. Don't be saying that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know how
Um,
much you love Henry Cavill.
but okay. Talking about where would you rank these two end credit scenes? Would you put them in the top five, top 10? Were they terrible? I personally think the first one was terrible. I thought the second one was outstanding.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, I think the first one is decent. The first of
Yeah,
the introduction of the Council of Kings.
so okay.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was
It
cool.
sets up Kang Dynasty,
It
Kang
does it
Dynasty,
intrigues you
whatever
to
you want to
want
call it.
to yeah, it intrigues you to want to know more about where he is in the multiverse and how much of a threat he is to. And again, like yeah, that was like again because his power scale, ever since like Loki season 1 is like pretty much what you saw of Kang in Loki season 1 was amateur to what we'll be expecting come the end of the multiversal saga.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He is only like in his pretty much like 1.5 phase,
Percent of yeah, percent of his power, I
he's
guess.
bro,
Yeah.
he's using like Shaggy, he's using like 1% of his power,
Um,
so yeah.
look, like I said, that first end credit scene was okay. It sets up Kang Dynasty. My number one worry is all those Kangs is going to set up lazy writing because
Yeah.
it's going to see in Kang Dynasty he's going to die.
Yeah,
He'll die. The
yeah,
Avengers will beat him, and
yeah,
then at the end of the movie he'll go, "Oh no, there's another one that's just as evil, if not more evil than me." So
yeah,
then there's
essentially.
another one that comes back, and then like Secret Fantastic Four or Secret Wars. Oh no, I'm the evil one, and then he dies. Oh no, there's another evil one, just as evil as me. There's another one, and it's just
Essentially,
like,
yeah.
and like
Another one,
another
another
one.
one.
Um, but like, but the problem is though, is like it's just lazy writing, and that's
It
what I hate.
is.
And that was my number one worry with the multiverse saga. Yeah, multiverse is cool. We got a movie like No Way Home, which we'll all be forever grateful for.
Which
Um,
is the best movie in Phase 4 and the best multiverse movie we've
it's
had
top
thus
five.
far.
Like you could say, top five comic book movies of all time.
You could say top 5 comedy. You could say that, in fact, yes.
That's for another time. We're getting a movie like Secret Wars though,
Mhm.
which could be hundreds of cameos, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's the plus side about this whole multiverse saga, which I have a worry about going into Phase 5.
Yeah.
Is like, yeah, cool cameos, Hugh Jackman and Ben Affleck Daredevil, and and all
Yeah.
that other stuff. But then it's like, oh, lazy writing. Someone dies with another version of that character, and he comes back to save the day.
Yeah, that's a bit of a trend I've noticed. Yeah, no, it's crazy how that's working right now. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
And then that's my other worry about Phase 5 is apparently Spider-Man is supposed to lead the Avengers team in the next two Avenger films.
I
I
heard
personally,
differently. I heard he was the lead of the movie, but not the actual leader of the Avengers.
Oh well, I read he was going to lead the Avengers.
I'm not sure. He might. If he does, that would be. Again, because wait, this is Secret Wars or King Dynasty?
I think like King Dynasty and Secret Wars.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, again, if they're gonna explore the symbiote at some point as well, that would be interesting to see it from that perspective.
But I think leading the Avengers, leader of the movie, he's still going to be the focal point of the movie. Which my worry is, how does that? I would rather see Captain America, Anthony Mackie, be the lead of
that would make more sense. Absolutely.
I think because unfortunately, like Captain America is now African American, right? And I have no problem with it at all. But the general audience will hate it, right? With everything nowadays, the general audience will hate it. So I really want them to push Anthony Mackie's Captain America and be like, look, motherfuckers, this guy's Captain America.
Because here's the thing, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was my second favorite thing out of Phase 4. Everyone calls me crazy.
It's top 5 for me. It's my top 5.
It's like, seriously, like that show made me want to get back in the gym so bad. And I literally started reading. I found myself reading far more Captain America comics after experiencing that show. Yeah. And that show changed my perspective on Captain America as a character. And it's thank you, Braden. But yeah, no, I'm really sorry. But yeah, no, I really would hope that they include.
Un video más, mi gente, me encanta esta vaina.
Shut the fuck up! But yeah, I think that it would be a missed opportunity, wouldn't it? Captain America, whether it was Steve Rogers or whether it's Anthony Mackie or whether it's even Bucky Barnes, he's always been the heart of the Avengers. He's always been the one that leads them into the horizon, and it just for me it would make sense. I think maybe 2 or 3 times in the comics that man has led the Avengers. But it's in very rare circumstances, and it does work. But it's it's clear that he doesn't want to lead them.
After the No Way Home, I just don't think it makes any sense. This guy's trying to restart his life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, he's the leader of the Avengers. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Plus, he's it's also his identity as well, because obviously with No Way Home, they were essentially basing it on One More Day, which was the whole let's undo Civil War and give him back his secret identity so we can tell Spider-Man stories better. And it's essentially what they adapted for No Way Home, which is crazy because they made what was a bad comic. I'm sorry, I love that comic, but a bad comic into an amazing movie. Which I love when the MCU do that, but no, it would make more sense to see Sam as the man, because he's proven himself he's worthy enough. He's proven himself to be an outstanding character for Phase 4. And
I loved him in that show. It was
absolutely. And again, he's had so much character development from Winter Soldier. He's been amazing. So
talking about shows and amazing characters in these shows, I do worry about upcoming TV shows in Phase 5 and 6, because I feel out of all the shows we've gotten, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, maybe Moon Knight, we've had 3 good shows out of how many we've gotten. And so my number one concern is they're just making shows for the sake of it. And I really don't want to be wasting my time, because I'm a Marvel fan and people will tell you that, don't watch it if you don't like it. I'm a diehard Marvel fan.
Yeah.
If you slap Marvel on the front of it, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to read it, I'm going to consume it.
Exactly, 100%.
So I want to make it worth my time.
Yeah.
And I feel like She-Hulk was definitely not worth my time. Ms. Marvel was not worth my time. What If wasn't worth my time. What was the other thing? WandaVision was definitely not worth my time. I think
I feel so bad.
Character, but I think 20-minute episodes, it just wasn't it.
I feel so bad because obviously we have different opinions on Disney Plus shows. I personally enjoy What If and WandaVision and all that. I do. I feel bad because I don't want you to come across you're too harsh on Marvel. Because you're entitled to your own opinion, and trust me, viewers, he's actually obviously with his content, he does have a lot of valid opinions, and I agree with a lot of things he says. But just because I can enjoy something he can't doesn't make doesn't make him an arsehole. It doesn't make me like.
Well, like I go into these things wanting to enjoy them. I went
Exactly.
into Ant-Man excited. I
you
went
did.
into She-Hulk excited, even though it was doomed from the start.
Fair enough.
I was excited. Like we complain about comedy, but this is a show that worked well with comedy. This is supposed to be a comedy, and
No,
it just
100%.
wasn't funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I go in excited, and I just get disappointed every single time. And then Daredevil Born Again is obviously the next big thing we're all excited about. I'm super excited about it. Obviously, I know you're going to be super excited about it.
Absolutely.
Today got confirmed John Bernthal's coming back, which I'm a massive Punisher fan, so I am excited.
Yeah, no, John Bernthal's going to fucking smash it.
But my number one worry is 18 episodes. I feel like it's too CW for me.
Well, I mean, the CW is kind of already in the shambles for the whole Red Death thing. I don't want to even bring that up, to be honest. Like,
that's another time.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But I think, I'm not sure. So they're only 18 episodes, and they all go for 20 minutes. Yeah.
18 episodes. I'm gonna guess like 50, I'm gonna say guess like 20 minutes. I don't see him going for like 40 minutes, unless they pull a Superman and Lois. Superman and Lois, they're like 30 minutes an episode, but it's like 15 to 12. But if they're doing 18, it's gonna be 20-minute episodes, and I just don't like the idea, because I think of 18 episodes, I think of like The Flash, I think of Arrow. I think of Supergirl, and I'm like, no, I don't want rushed writing, especially with Daredevil. I love Daredevil and I love Punisher, and Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin's back, and I really don't want to rush that character.
Well, going back to your point about how Marvel are essentially just pumping out whatever shows they can do, as much content as they can make. And the reason why some of them fall short, I feel, at least in the CGI department and in the writing department as well, is because they have time frames. Very limited time frames as well. And I mean, these people lose sleep. They do. They genuinely lose sleep.
We've seen the reports that people are just like losing sleep.
No, exactly. It's not healthy to put writers and your workers in a position like that, where and it's also mildly unethical.
You ruin the creative process.
You do.
Because you're not letting them create this stuff. You're just like, they're there, like, we need to get this out before this date, you know?
They go to work and it's a chore. It's a chore to them. You know, they don't like sit down and they don't have the creative juices flowing anymore. And not everything out of Phase 4 was great. I mean, don't be wrong. I know I just said that I did enjoy WandaVision and I did enjoy What If, but there were some stinkers.
The general sense is that Phase 4 was a stinker.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, aside from obviously No Way Home and Tactical Disorder, that there's some time and awe in there. There really is. But yeah, it's again, they are just pumping out everything. Look how much stuff came out last year.
There was a lot of.
There was a lot of stuff that came out last year.
Yeah, it was overwhelming, to be fair. And as a Marvel fan, I should be excited that there's this much stuff coming out.
And to be honest, I started understanding that. Like, some of my friends pulled back from Marvel for a bit. I noticed that. It's like they
we'll get on that later. Yeah,
like they get so overwhelmed with like how much is like that. You have to catch up on that. You have to catch up on this. Like, you have to understand the law for that or this or that. And it's like, like
it is too much.
I do miss when Marvel movies were just one story, didn't have a connected universe.
Yeah,
we're gonna branch out into a whole multiversal thing. It was just like the Sam Raimi movies. They were just movies. They were just like Spider-Man, you know. Like,
I mean, the Batman's doing exactly that, and look how
that is what Matt Reeves is doing. Exactly, 100%. He's fucking fashion. He's making his own original story. It's not connected to the DCU in any way. It's his own thing. It's his own image. It's his own imagination. It's his own story, and he does it. I watched it again last week, and it's still a masterpiece.
It's my favorite comic book movie ever.
I've had friends, and I completely agree. And look, I love No Way Home. I loved No Way Home.
Yeah,
but I recently watched the Batman again. Put on top.
Yeah,
I put the Batman on top of Spider-Man No Way Home, and again, obviously the hype level for Spider-Man was much higher, and like it was the whole about Andrew and Toby, and it was like the start of the multiverse. It was great. I still No Way Home is up here, right?
The Batman's just
the Batman.
Yeah.
Best Marvel and DC movie within like 8 months of each other. I still think like Yeah,
But I think maybe why the Batman is just that little bit over No Way Home is it focuses on one character. So
just
you
one
can
character.
really
Exactly. Yeah,
it can explore him to the limit.
it
You
can.
know,
Yeah,
rather than all that, like at the moment, what I was saying with the multiverse stuff, you've got to like build this whole multiverse saga, all these other characters, all these cameos, but you still got to build Spider-Man, you still got to build Captain America, you still got to build Captain Marvel, right, and Loki.
you do. Yeah, yeah,
And I
exactly.
really want Marvel. I've been crying for Marvel to push out Elseworld stories, exactly what DC are doing.
Yeah,
I
pretty
would
much.
love an Elseworld Punisher story, full on R rating, like
Oh
Dark
yeah,
World, like David Fisher, who did Seven and Mindhunters, all that, just real dark and gritty. I would love like a beautiful cosmic movie with Silver Surfer, just him floating around the galaxy, just really fun,
absolutely.
creative Elseworld stories that make you feel like you're reading a comic book again.
100%. Like, I mean, like they don't, they feel like MCU stuff some days feels like popcorn. Like it feels like candy. It doesn't feel like I don't know if that makes sense, but like it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
I get exactly what you're saying.
like a movie like The Batman by Matt Reeves is quite literally Batman Year Two graphic novel come to life. It was I mean, it was phenomenal. It's still, and the thing is as well about the whole Elseworlds thing is because obviously James Gunn is making this new Batman universe, and he's gonna be casting like is it Batman
Brave and the Bold.
Brave and the Bold with
Yeah,
Damian Wayne, right?
yeah, yeah.
The thing is with that is when I went to go see the Batman for the first time, and I don't have to talk about how much of a Nightwing fan I am. He's like my favorite character in that universe, and I don't have to worry now. I heard someone say this somewhere, but it's like I brought late to it, but it's like I don't have to worry about are they going to tease Robin in the Batman Part Two? Are they going to tease any Robin, or are they going to towards Robin storyline? I don't have to worry about that because I've got that in the DCU now. I have
Yeah.
that here. I don't have to worry about Robin in the Matt Reeves Batman universe because he's like that is just Bruce Wayne, and I can appreciate that for what it is. If I want Robin, I'll go chill with James Gunn and what he's doing. Like that's what I love about it. I think it's great.
Yeah, but that, like exactly what you were saying before about it being popcorn movies, the MCU being popcorn and candy movies.
It's candy movies, yeah, 100%.
And but what you're saying is like
Yeah.
a great example of that is if we look at Daredevil, right? Because
Yep.
we know Daredevil probably won't be hit its peak like it did on Netflix. It will probably be okay, right?
It'll
But
try its best to match
exactly.
what Netflix did for Matt Murdock, but I don't think it'll like. I mean, there was just something. And again, like my mum is a massive Daredevil fan, and I
Yeah,
like the
Daredevil,
whole
yeah.
reason I got my mum into Daredevil because of Netflix, and what
Yeah.
they did with that character was phenomenal. Obviously, compared to the MCU, I mean, not just by color, but there's a massive contrast between character.
Mhm.
And to be honest, I don't mind it. I mean,
I don't mind it either.
Daredevil has been comedic in the comics before. I've read a lot of comic book runs where he's been very lighthearted, and I don't mind it. And
I mean,
I
the
think
Mark Wade run is the number one
yeah,
example of that.
100%. And I'm also it's not comedic, but I will say The Man Without Fear is a very good run, and Born Again is also a very good run.
Yeah, the Frank Miller, is goaded with Daredevil.
100%, 100%. But I will say, like Daredevil was definitely a standout in She-Hulk, 100%.
Yeah,
And his introduction was very good, and I thought it was a very different take on that, and I didn't mind it. But yeah, I think in comparison, the Netflix is much more cinematic. It's much more emotionally endearing. It's much more. I don't know. It get, like kind of that series delved into the psychology of Matt Murdock more than the sugar plum candy that what was. And I don't. I like them both, but
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
clear difference between the two.
But like
And I can appreciate both.
and I was just saying with the Daredevil stuff, like we know it's going to be great. But with that Daredevil Netflix series, it's like I'm a big fan of the Frank Miller run.
Yeah.
It was like Daredevil, a man vengeance, trying to redeem, but had this multi-level layer of this character of Matt Murdock. He loves being Daredevil. He has all these other psychological problems.
Yeah.
And that's why I think why people regards Daredevil as the greatest piece of Marvel kind of cinematic piece of fiction that we've gotten.
100%.
And I think that's what the MCU, that's what I'm worried about with the MCU. And that's what you're saying about the movies being candy and lolly type of movies rather than the Batman being this multi-leveled cinematic masterpiece. And I really hope if Marvel can tap into that again, because having that type of character was the Marvel way. That's what Stan Lee was founded on. Stan Lee was the first person to give, like, you look at Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Peter Parker, he was the first kind of writer to give Peter Parker personal problems. Peter Parker couldn't get a girlfriend. He couldn't get a job. He had no money. He gave him real life problems, and that was the Marvel way. And now it's starting to become the DC way. It needs to be that way around.
Back that. I mean, I didn't think about the Stanley comparison, but I can get behind that 100%. I feel like they're taking a very similar approach to Marvel, but it's not like it's not like not in an obvious way, but like it's clear that they're taking
foreshadowing it.
It is foreshadowing it. They're taking notes from one of the greatest minds in comic book history, and they're like really coming into their own. And I can actually applaud DC for that.
Yeah, no,
100%.
I mean,
they're giving their characters. Sorry,
DC
are giving their characters more character.
Yeah,
nowadays, like outside of the animated stuff, and I think it's brilliant. That's why I'm really excited.
I mean, we're going to keep bagging Marvel because talking about characters and Marvel losing their way. Let's talk about the comic books because we know the current comic books have not been doing very well. And I mean, I'm going to leave it to you, Liam, for the next, let's say the next 3 hours, because we know Nightwing is probably the #1 comic book on the market right now.
Okay, so I cannot describe with words what I really think of the Tom Taylor Nightwing run. It is my whole personality.
Literally, yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. I've been recommending it to all my friends. I've been recommending it to people who are new to DC. And I've heard such positive things back from them about this run. Like if you obviously Leaping into the Light, I can't recommend that book enough. And he recently came out with issue 100. First of all, fucking tearjerker.
Yeah. I've read issue 100 as well myself. Yeah, it is an unbelievable issue.
It's phenomenal. Like I think it's my favorite Dick and Babs relationship in that comic run. The artwork is phenomenal. The relationship between Dick Grayson and Wally West is phenomenal in that. And there were a little bit of Titans scattered in the new stuff, which I really, really do appreciate. There's just such and again, Jonathan Kent and Dick Grayson as well, another great relationship.
I'm going to quickly add in there, just let you continue with Tom Taylor. I didn't really care for Jonathan Kent, but I started reading the Tom Taylor Jonathan Kent run, and I absolutely love John now. I absolutely love him.
He's phenomenal. Yeah, he's great. He really knows how to write. Just like the youthful characters, I guess. He's amazing at it. He's amazing. I can't speak highly enough.
I mean, Nightwing is what I mean. You can't meet a bigger Nightwing fan than Liam.
I am. Nightwing is the reason I get up in the fucking morning, bro. I'm telling you right now.
Take it from him. Nightwing has been killing it, and I can say the very same for Superman. Superman has been killing it at the moment. I think Williamson is doing an unbelievable job. I think we were talking about it at the comic book shop the other day with the difference between Superman and Action Comics at the moment. It keeps the two separate. You can still have Superman, but you can still build up a new Superman.
Yeah.
And that's what DC are killing it, man. And then now Clark's back, and with this new dawn of DC stuff, they're pushing Titans, they're pushing Nightwing. Superman is they're pushing Superman hard. Superboy's coming back.
Yeah. I also just want to quickly add, Nightwing is now the official leader of the Justice League. Let's talk about that for a minute. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's pretty crazy. I mean, Clark said it himself. Wasn't it Clark that said it in the comic that you should lead the team?
Yeah, and then because they've teased the idea of Nightwing being leader since New 52, when Dick was like, one day, Bruce, I will join the Justice League. And he was like, no, you're going to lead it. And then guess what? He fucking leads it 20 years past, it's or no, not 20 years, maybe 12 years. It was anyway, but it's it's really good that DC are even on point with continuity in fucking comics, outside of movies. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they're killing it. And what we were saying before is Dick, it's now starting to get personal problems. Clark is getting personal problems. John's getting personal problems.
He is.
And that's what we're saying about the Marvel way. And then we go to Marvel Comics. I'm going to rant about the Punisher for a
Yeah,
second
nah, fair enough. Go ahead.
because
I've heard that it's a stinker run.
the new Punisher run, Jason Aaron sucks in general.
Yeah.
Thor,
I've heard that.
God of Thunder, Thor, unbelievable. But this new Punisher run sucks, man. Because I think the problem is like at the start it started really well. Like he became the Hand, and the Hand were like, "You are the number one warmonger. Like you love war. You're going to lead us into war." I thought that's such a cool dynamic for Frank Castle. You really tap into that whole he loves war type of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is really interesting. I really like it. And then Jason Aaron said, like, because the whole thing with the Punisher logo, how like they were going to cancel it because all the rioters wore the Punisher logo. So like, and Jason Aaron said this book is about Frank Castle, not the Punisher. So I was like, damn, we're actually getting a story about Frank, right? I'm excited. So now, and then they give him superpowers, and I was like, you just strip away everything this man is, like, because the whole point of Frank Castle and why Frank Castle is so different to every other single comic book character that I've ever seen and why I love him so much is because he's a man with nothing to lose.
And one of the best anti-heroes in Marvel as well.
And one of the best anti-heroes in comics in general.
In fiction.
Literally.
Yeah.
But he's a man with nothing to lose. And the whole purpose of his character is you can't stop a man with nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Like there's so many cool panels where Daredevil goes to him and Daredevil goes, Frank, you need to stop. We need to lock you up. You know, you're killing criminals. Killing isn't the right way. And Frank just goes, you're going to lock me up in a facility full of other criminals? Like, you can't do that. Like, I'm just going to kill everyone in the prison. But that's what I mean. He has nothing to lose. And the other Marvel characters know that. And that's what makes him so different. And I love that he's just far away from everyone as possible. Like, when like he asks characters, oh, have you tried stopping the Punisher? And they're like, no. I ain't going near that guy, bro. Like, but that's what I love about this character. But then you start giving him superpowers and he starts killing gods. And then you've got like the Avengers onto him. I'm like, you just strip everything away that makes him Frank Castle.
That doesn't make sense
character.
for Frank Castle as a character to want to resort to gods like
he hates the gods because he hates the world that they've given. They hate the world that he hates the world that they've made for him. And then another character that they've absolutely butchered at the moment is Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man should not be working with Norman Osborn.
No, he shouldn't.
Why is he got a glider?
Look, I mean, I've always appreciated it's like throughout comics, I've always appreciated how the idea that Peter Parker had what he thought was a role model as Norman Osborn, and they had the same common interest, scientists, and they both want to aspire to be that. And he was a role. And then obviously he becomes Green Goblin, and that, kind of is like, what the fuck? Like it goes against Parker's morality. And it's like, it's one of those weird things. Like you compare it to Lex and Superman, they've worked together a few times, but their moral compass sometimes aligns. But for some reason, I can't picture Norman Osborn and Peter Parker's morals aligning at some point. That just doesn't fit in my head.
But the problem with that is, though, right? Normally, it's Lex going to Clark, and Clark kind of opening himself, like kind of learning people and opening himself up to people that are wrong in a way, right? Yeah. But the problem is, Peter goes to Osborn for help. Mm-hmm. When on earth did Peter go to Norman Osborn for help? Why on earth would he? Like, that's his very, very, very
doesn't add up.
last resort. If like he goes to Norman for help, and then it's like the first option. Like, I just don't get it, man. It's just so fun. And then X-Men, X-Men's another one that I really like. That I haven't, like, I was telling Liam the other day. X-Men is normally really confusing for me. I have no idea where to start.
Yeah, I don't remember you saying that. Yeah,
what's going on? And I think
House of M is my favorite.
House of M is a great book. Who was it? Hickman? I think it was Hickman. Mm-hmm. Gene Hickman. That's it, Hickman. He rebooted X-Men, and it was really good. And then he's left, and then now the X-Men is just an utter mess right now. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say it, but the best Marvel comics that I'm reading right now is Predator, and that's not even a Marvel character. They're just publishing, the Predator comics, and Sabretooth and the Exiles.
Or you could probably also argue the like Doctor Alpha Star Wars comics, which are Marvel owned, and they're good.
But it's not a Marvel character. Like, it's just
Yeah,
Marvel
exactly.
publishing
Like, it's a Star Wars
another
character, but
franchise.
Marvel happened to own the rights to that character, and the comics they're writing for a Star Wars character that they don't even own are better than what the characters that they own they're writing for. I don't know. That fuck, but yeah.
But when did we get to such a point where Sabretooth is the best written Marvel character right now?
Yeah,
when did we get to that point? I love Sabretooth, but when did we
Yeah.
get to that point?
Yeah,
Like a few years ago, we had the Hickman X-Men, the Immortal Hulk run. We had the Donny Cates, the King in Black arc Venom, right? Which was unbelievable. Marvel was on fire. And then now they just go like this. And I think maybe one of the problems because of that is the MCU is affecting it in a way where people are just kind of like gone off Marvel, and Marvel trying to trying to pull them back in by doing the wackiest shit ever. Having Peter work with Norman Osborn, giving Frank Castle superpowers, doing whatever the fuck they're doing with the X-Men, nobody knows. But I think maybe that it's the MCU is affecting the comic book business in a way, and I think maybe with DC, with James Gunn coming over and he announced Superman Legacy, Batman Brave and the Bold, Lanterns, Booster Gold, Supergirl, people are starting peaking an interest in DC again.
I'll be completely honest with you, man. Outside of Ant-Man and Wasp, I have not picked up a Marvel book in 4 months.
Literally, I've been reading the issues, but I haven't been enjoying them. But I'm the same as you. I've not picked up a Marvel book in a long time. I've been doing a lot of Dragon Ball, and again, I've been reading a lot of DC as well.
The last book I remember reading about Marvel was probably Spider-Man 2099, and that was a good book. But like ever since then, I just discovered more Tom Taylor stuff and started reading it and I started enjoying it, and like I've just been like enthralled with like just like DC right now. It's weird. Like I never thought I'd switch teams, but I am switching teams. You know, crazy.
I mean, like for all my the majority of my life, I've always been Marvel over DC in terms of everything. I've always enjoyed Marvel comics more.
Yeah,
it's funny because Superman's my favorite character of all time.
Yeah,
but I've enjoyed Marvel comics more. I've enjoyed Marvel movies more, cartoons, video games, or whatever. But at the moment, I'm DC over Marvel. I'm enjoying DC movies at the moment. I'm enjoying DC comics at the moment. Video games is a separate thing. But in terms of the two most important things when it comes to superheroes, movies, and comic books, I'm absolutely loving DC right now. And I cannot wait for what James Gunn's got to offer us.
Yeah, no, 100% back that. Sorry, I got my mouth full. But yeah, no, I have 100% back that. I am much more. I feel bad because it's not like Marvel can make amazing stuff, and they probably will at some point.
We know they can make unbelievable stuff.
100%. Right. I mean, I am pretty intrigued to see what they do with Secret Invasions, which is coming out soon.
Yeah, Guardians, I'm super excited for, but I wouldn't say it's more of it's an MCU project, but it's away from everything. It's away from the whole multiverse thing, and it's James Gunn again.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And I personally think if Guardians 3 comes out really well, DC are going to be rubbing their hands because all the fans are like, oh my God, Guardians 3, I can't wait for the next James Gunn project. You know, so I bet you if Guardians 3 works out really well, DC are going to be like, yeah, buddy, and guess who he works for now?
Yeah, despite everything that came out about Henry Cavill about like 2 months back, I'm sorry to bring it up because I know it's a sensitive topic for you.
I got PTSD right now.
I'm sorry. But I know that what James Gunn did was like very hurtful to a lot of people, myself included, and I have a lot of mates who love Henry Superman. You can't deny it. I mean, look at Peacemaker. You look at Guardians. Has he had a flop? Suicide Squad. Has he had a flop in either universe? No, he hasn't.
Fire.
No. So I think Guardians 3 is going to be one of the I have so much faith in the guy. The guy has earned my trust, in my opinion. He's earned my admiration, and I am enthralled with any project he puts on my TV. He's fantastic, and I'm really intrigued to see where they go with Guardians 3, despite all the theories about Rocket and all that. And
it's going to be an emotional movie, but I'm ready. I'm super ready for it.
I'm also extremely ready for a Nova. Please.
Hopefully we get it. My prediction is Silver Surfer.
Yeah, that'd be cool too. That'd be cool too. Yeah,
I think it does make a lot of because if you're killing off some of the Guardians, you've got to rebuild that team again.
yeah,
And Nova
yeah.
is one of the founding members of the Guardians.
This
So,
is true. Yeah, exactly.
so I mean, it makes a lot of sense for Nova to come back.
Also, maybe Starla will die, and Richard will end up getting with Iwara like he did in the comics. W Riz.
Maybe I become canon. I get
Reaving
with Mantis.
Riz. Yeah.
Bro.
Or maybe she's end up with me. Like maybe I just end
Hey. No, bro. I'm going Ultra Instinct, bro. If she goes with you, dude.
I'll take Nebula. It's good. Yeah. But no, I think I'm really just for Guardians 3. I think I have a lot of, and again, Warlock.
Warlock, I'm super excited for that. I hope we get a bit of Magus, which is the demon that we get a little of like it's an evil version of Adam Warlock. So I'm hoping we get Magus in Guard or a tease to it, but again, like you, I'm super excited for Adam Warlock.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's gonna be fucking killer. So I think, yeah, and we'll obviously make a review about that when the time comes, and everything. I think it's gonna be, I think the future for DC is very bright. The future for Marvel is like hit or miss.
I think Marvel have got to do some thinking with what they want to do because I generally think Marvel are a bit worried about what DC have got coming.
Well, the fact alone that Marvel, compared to last year, are putting out less projects than 2021 does speak volumes about the fact that they're finally considering the mental capacity of their workers. And they maybe just maybe they might stop overloading and then having to make some messes on TV shows, as what I'm saying. I feel like it's good. It's genuinely good. I did like Matt Ramos. I know Soups has a reputation. And I know Soup. Look, I'll be completely honest. I don't mind Soups. I think he's okay.
I don't mind him. I think he's cool. I've had one or two interactions with him. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that actually. That's pretty but he made a video recently. I watched it, and he pretty much said you need to slow down, and you need to consider the how hard you're pushing.
Start giving a shit about the projects you put.
Yeah, and just calm down. We don't expect everything to be perfect. You don't have to rush all these projects. Take your time, Marvel. Take your time to produce this stuff.
Again, we're sounding such DC fanboys, but Matt Reeves took his sweet ass time with the Batman and the Batman Part 2. And look how these movies came out.
I know it's not even Marvel DC related, but look how long it took for them to make Puss in Boots 2, and look how good it turned out to be.
Bro, literally.
I know. Legit, Hey, you want a third movie?
No, it's 3, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's the third movie.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay. But no, seriously, again, and Puss in Boots 2, I don't have to talk about how great that movie is, but when a movie company, and they take the time to mold and perfect a piece of art, and then they put it out into the world. That's what Matt Reeves did, and the person who was behind She-Hulk probably just said, let's just make this comedic. Let's make it a throwaway.
Let's rush it until let's just get Daredevil out there as quick as possible so we can start getting people a bit
exactly.
Because I bet you 90% of the audience that watched that show, I'm one of those 90% that only watched it for Daredevil.
As fortunate as that is, yes, that's pretty much why I watched it too. And look, I'm not gonna lie. I will say though, in fairness, I did it was mid-season, but it was the episode about Jennifer and her, how she deals with hiding the mask of She-Hulk, and how Jennifer Walters is a very vulnerable woman, but when she becomes She-Hulk, all the guys turn their heads, and it's unfortunate because that's how a lot of people feel. Not just women, not just men, but that's how a lot of people feel. Themselves, I mean,
it was such a good dynamic, and then it gets cut off by a goofy joke, so it doesn't matter anymore. You can't really drive that scene home.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually a really genuine good idea, but it just for it to get butchered a few minutes later is just sad. It's unfortunate.
I mean, I think overall what we've learned from this, I guess we've learned from this podcast today is that we're DC fanboys. that we hate everything Marvel,
Represent.
and we're with James Gunn all the way. No.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think the overall
We have
kind
faith in James Gunn that
We have-
we're gonna see some peak shit. Fucking
but I think the overall census of this episode is I think we're just tired of just seeing just shit that doesn't have any effort put into it. We want to see stuff that matters. We want to see stuff where we generally feel that like the writers, the directors, the actors, the lighting, the cinematographers, the producers put 110% into
sure.
these projects.
for sure. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But
I thoroughly agree with that. Yeah.
I think we'll wrap it up now. We'll be going
We
on
will.
for quite a while.
But just before we conclude, of course, I wanted to hopefully see if we could get some in.
Some comic. Maybe we'll save that for next. We'll focus that more rather than to next episode because I think we got lost in our rants about Nightwing.
We did, yeah, 100%. But that's all right then. No worries.
I think next episode, I think we'll focus more about kind of like ourselves and what we love and what
like kind of like
all
our
that
kind of like
stuff.
sources of interest and what like
I
makes us
think-
tick. Yeah.
because I think there's been a lot of stuff at the moment that's been going on in the comic book world that we
There
should
has.
kind of get our opinions out there. Next week will be probably a more relaxing, more chill episode
Sure.
for you guys.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I look forward to talking with you again, and hopefully having some guests on would be amazing too.
Yeah, we definitely will for sure.
I'll definitely have old mate Mr. $500 on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, can't wait.
But we'll see how that turns out. And yeah, it was really fun talking about everything in the world of Marvel and DC and comic books and pop culture. So I really look forward to seeing how far we can take this podcast series. Looking forward to see like how it all pans out for us. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to discuss stuff.
No worries. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, take it easy, guys.
We'll see you later.
Thank you. See ya.